Can I not marry? Audio web novel chapter 54. Oh my god. That was too dangerous. Although Du Lacey was slow, but regarding her resignation, she still did it a resolute manner. The next day after returning from her honeymoon, she went straight to see Zhu Dafu and handed in her letter of resignation. Accepting Du Lacey's letter of resignation, Zhu Dafu was filled with heartache and headache. Do need time to think things through. I'll give you a bonus. Du Lacey slightly withdraw. Thank you Zhu manager for your kind intentions, however I have made up my mind. I'm praying you don't give me coupons and condoms. I'm begging you. Seeing Du Lacey firm and resolute, Zhu Dafu also felt it was useless to persuade her. He could only regrettably shake his head, while muttering, such a talented salesperson, it's such a pity, what a pity. Otherwise, why don't you claim another bonus instead? Once his voice fell, Du Lacey's shadow before him have already fled and long gone. Coming out from Zhu Dafu's office, Du Lacey felt it was necessary to inform her colleagues that she have gotten along with during her time here, although the period she's been hasn't been long, however they got along very well. Since she have received their warmth and hospitality she should at least say goodbye. Arriving at the sales counter, upon seeing Du Lacey, everyone surrounded her. Jewelry counters Da Zhao said, Du, you finally returned. It's been such a long time, if others didn't know they would have thought you have run away and eloped. Elope. Da Zhao, how can your guesses be so correct? Then cosmetics counters sister May said, Du, you move in and out with wizardly elusiveness Do you know what nickname everyone came up with while you were absent? Du Lacey was thoroughly embarrassed. What? Everyone's Hong Qigong, Du Qigong. What kind of nickname is this? That's right Du, can you not leave again? Du Lacey said with embarrassment, I have resigned. What? Jimo Shuang cried out, Du, you want to quit? No way. You leave me to carry all the counters alone Du, your heart is so malicious Her voice was enough to sing a Beijing opera. Du Lacey was cruelly frightened by Jimo Shuang's posture. I didn't do it intentionally. As a matter of fact. She thought of informing her of the things regarding the president. After all, they have interacted for than a month. Hiding such things from her wasn't good. Unexpectedly, Jimo Shuang was one step ahead of her. Don't tell me you're pregnant. Puff. Du Lacey almost choked on her own saliva. Sister Mo Shuang. Your imagination is too rich. On the side, because of Jimo Shuang's pregnant word, the group of women have exploded in the pot. It can't be. Du, you're too careless. Didn't Zhu manager Zhu give you a lot of bonuses? Why didn't you use them? Oh, what bonuses There's all expired. Zhu manager is a cheap ass He even suggested using condoms that expired 6 years as balloons decoration. That's right That's right. During the National Day even the cosmetics he gave out were also expired. And during the Spring Festival. So like this, the topic went from Du Lacey resigning to the discussion of her belly, then from her body to the discussion of Zhu Dafu's degree of stinginess. As for Du Lacey, she had been completely forgotten in the corner. Du Lacey sighed a sigh of relief. At the same time she felt that a woman's imagination was infinite. She secretly slipped out. Walking towards the exit, her cell phone rang. It was an unknown number. Hello. She pressed the answer button. Hello. Yes, it is Alice. Alice. Du Lacey was slightly startled. Do you remember me? I am Huo Yuji. Huo Yuji. Du Lacey rapidly jolted her memory and finally recalled 3 beautiful faces. She was suddenly enlightened. Are you free today? Huo Yuji asked. Me. Du Lacey turned around to look at the group women who was still busy gossiping, and she replied, yes, I'm free. If you are free, come out and have a cup of tea with me at Xinyi Shopping Center B block. There's a restaurant called Hong Kong Tea. After Huo Yuji finished speaking, she didn't wait for Du Lacey and hung up. Du Lacey stared at her cell phone in a daze. Zhu Yaofei, there's someone else who acts more like a queen than you. Following the address Huo Yuji gave her, Du Lacey arrived at the Hong Kong Tea restaurant half an hour later. As she walked through the door, she heard a person shout towards her, over here. Du Lacey followed the direction of the voice since she couldn't see the silhouette. Here, the voice shouted again. This time, Du Lacey recognized the person. There's really a huge difference between a woman who wore heavy smoky makeup and a woman who applies minimal makeup. The last time Du Lacey saw her, she thought Huo Yuji looked like a panda. This time she looked more like a polar bear. She doesn't even need to mention this to know Huo Yuji looks much better like this. Du Lacey walked over and said hello before sitting down. Huo Yuji was also very clear and went straight to the point. It must be very strange that I've suddenly invited you out. Du Lacey awkwardly nodded. It's a bit strange. In fact, it's nothing really. I just wanted your help in regards to something. What do you need help with? In a moment I'm meeting some friends that I've met online. Meeting online friends. Miss Mighty Huo would also met friends from online. Du Lacey suddenly wanted to laugh. What do you know? Huo Yuji gave her a glare. This sister is not seeing an online friend, it's loneliness. Du Lacey suddenly choked, trying to put a serious expression. Since you're seeing an online friend, what do you need me to help you with? What else? Huo Yuji eyed Du Lacey up and down. You make others feel a sense of security. A sense of security. Du Lacey was embarrassed. Then what can I do for you? It's like this, when my online friend comes, he'll also be bringing a friend along. If they end up being 2 frogs, then you can use an excuse saying your stomach aches and pull me away. If 1 frog, you have to find a way to drag this frog dragged away. If they ain't frogs, then you leave. Do you understand what I'm implying? Du Lacey listened until she felt like she was going to faint. Why does it sound like such a tongue twister? Did you understand or not? I seem to get the glitz of things. Oh, they're coming, they're here, Huo Yuji said. I'm counting on you. If I catch a handsome guy, then I'll owe you one. Du Lacey wanted to ask, if you encounter a frog and are you going to settle things with her afterwards? She didn't have the chance to ask this when the 2 men have already arrived. Du Lacey wanted to make sure how many frogs there were. When she lifted her head to look, she was completely shocked. How can she be so unlucky? T______T when Seo Yin saw Du Lacey, he was equally as shocked, then his glazes became ingenious. Why is it you? Huo Yuji was also shocked as she asked. You are, second senior brother. Puff. Du Lacey choking on her saliva. If he is second senior brother, then are you younger sister Chang'e? Seo Yin looked at Du Lacey, pointed toward the side of him. Young sister Chang'e, your second senior brother is here. So she's Huo Yuji really younger sister Chang'e? Presumably second senior brother also didn't think younger sister Chang'e had so many heads. A normal meeting of friends have encounter many misfortunes for no reason. A second senior brother, and a sexy version of the moon goddess Chang'e. It was no longer a film of Journey to the West. When Du Lacey's brain was planning the plot of Journey to the West, Huo Yuji suddenly hit her. What? Du Lacey looked up and saw Huo Yuji winking at her, mouthing something. What? Green. What are? She finally remembered her ultimate mission, and quickly observed the number of frogs in front of her. Her eyes landed on Seo Yin. It also happened that he was looking at her. His glaze made her develop goosebumps. Fortunately, Du Lacey have been trained by the president to have the body of King Kong. These small tricks couldn't surpass her good eyesight. Du Lacey focused her attention and began to assess whether Seo Yin is considered a frog or not. Speaking with a conscience, Seo Yin really couldn't be considered a frog. If he is considered one, then it's estimated all the swan will come running to eat this frog meat. It's best if she also assess second senior brother as well. Du Lacey's eyes also moved towards the legendary second senior brother. Oh heavens. So it turns out this is not second senior brother from a Chinese Odyssey, it's second senior brother from Sayuki. Wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses, coupled with a plaid shirt, Du Lacey didn't know why but she suddenly thought of a phrase, a refined rascal. Only younger sister Chang'e would like this refined rascal type. His pair of peering eyes staring at others, the 2 of them flirting, sending silent and endearing messages with their bewitching eyes. The only difference is they haven't rushed to tear off each other's clothing. Speaking to this point, it means she can retire from political life after winning tremendous successes, right? Thus Du Lacey stood up and said, I have something to attend so I'll be off first. Well, you be careful on the road then. Huo Yuji waved. Cow. This lustful girl unexpectedly didn't even turn around to take a glance at her. What's the meaning of this? Wait a minute, Seo Yin called out to her. It just so happens that I also have something as well, he said, also standing up. This was exactly what second senior brother and younger sister Chang'e had in mind. Walk slowly, we won't be sending you off. They spoke in unison, both having a mutual understanding of each other. The 2 of them had no obstacle. Whatever they wanted to do, they'll get it done. Du Lacey miserably carried her handbag, quickly walking ahead, while the person behind her leisurely followed, and he always maintained 2 or 3 meters distance. Finally, Du Lacey was angry. She stopped her footsteps and turned around. Stop following me, will you? Who's following you? Seo Yin said as he came closer to her with an innocent expression. It just so happens I need to take the same path as well. Only you can walk on this road, and others can't. You. Du Lacey was so angry that she could not speak. However, suddenly she was enlightened and turned towards the female toilet. Certainly he can't walk this way as well. Unexpectedly, when Du Lacey came out of the toilet, Seo Yin unexpectedly was wandering in the front of the female toilet door with his thick skin. He didn't even blink his eyes. This time, Du Lacey felt really hopeless. What the hell do you want? She asked. Nothing. Seo Yin shrugged. If it's nothing, then why are you following me? How do you know I'm following you? Seo Yin suddenly leaned over and whispered into her ears. I know, you've been secretly paying attention to me, right? Student Seo, isn't your sense of self feeling slightly overbearing? Regarding this guy who came from another planet, there's a language barrier. Du Lacey had chosen to deal with the situation by remaining silent. She wanted to turn around and walk away when she suddenly heard a familiar voice. Du Lacey. Who? Who was calling her name? She looked left and right, when she finally saw the face of her ex-boyfriend she hasn't seen in months, Zheng Zuzu. Du Lacey was slightly embarrassed, because she obviously felt Xiao Yin's pent-up smile from behind. What a coincidence. She greeted Zheng Zuzu with a smile. Zheng Zu enthusiastically asked, Lacey, your complexion doesn't look very well, are you sick? Sick your head. If you dare to call me Lacey again, I will make you sick instead. Even though she was cursing him in her heart, however she continued to plaster a smile while confronting him. No, it's nothing, I didn't sleep well yesterday. So it's like this, that's right, this is your. Zheng Zuzu finally noticed Xiao Yin who was behind her. I don't know him, Du Lacey quickly replied. Darling, I know I was wrong, don't be angry with me. Xiao Yin suppressed a smile as he stepped forward and stretched his hands out to pull Du Lacey onto his arms. Du Lacey glared at him. She wanted to trample him, however she was interrupted by Zheng Zuzu. Lacey, turns out you already have a boyfriend. What a pity, it seems that I won't have a second chance then. He regrettably shook his head. What? Du Lacey was angry, although she doesn't have any sentiment towards Zheng Zuzu anymore. However, when they were dating she did pour a lot effort into the relationship. She didn't expect to be given the hot and cold treatment, then mercilessly dumped after 3 months. Now, this son of a bitch actually put on an attitude as if she's wronged him. She wanted to pull his hair out. Du Lacey was so angry, she simply take advantage of being in Xiao Yin's embrace and used a very disgusted tone to reply him. Mr. Zheng must be joking, someone like you with such great criteria, which beauty wouldn't want to pursue you are? Oh that's right, do you have an appropriate candidate now? If you, it's best if you quickly hold a wedding banquet. How does this girl look like? How old is she? Her name must sound really nice. EY. Zheng Zuzu's face turned pale as he said, I have an emergency, I'll leave first. Don't go Mr. Zheng. You haven't told me the date of your wedding yet. As she asked, Zheng Zuzu have quickly disappeared in her line of sight. Hump. To take this revenge it felt really good. Du Lacey suddenly found out she had the potential to be really black belly. Just as she felt proud of herself she suddenly found the atmosphere felt strange. When she turned around she found Xiao Yin was holding his stomach while laughing uncontrollably. His shoulders were shaking like a mother hen hatching eggs. Du Lacey. Ha 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 ha. That's too funny. Laugh. What are you laughing about? Being laughed at made her hate Zheng Zuzu. Are you sure this is your real name? Why aren't you called Ansel 1? Ha ha ha. Du Lacey grit her teeth in anger. Laugh all you want. Laugh until you die. After she finished cursing, she turned around to leave. Don't leave. Xiao Yin hurriedly caught up from behind. He stretched out his hands and placed it over her shoulders. You're a condom. Your entire family are condoms. Du Lacey suddenly wanted to cry, the kind that filled the face with streaks of tears. At this time, her cell phone suddenly rang. She took it out and saw the president's name on the screen. Du Lacey remembered that day when they bumped into Xiao Yin on the plane. Recalling the president's iceberg expression she suddenly tensed up because if he knew she was currently with Xiao Yin, would he? She hurriedly twisted Xiao Yin's arm. He yelped in pain and let go of her. I'm only joking, you don't need to be so ruthless. You dare to utter a sound, I will kill you. Du Lacey viciously threatened Xiao Yin with this sentence before answering the president's call. Why did you answer my call so late? Lian Jun asked. Du Lacey guiltily replied, there were too many people in the mall, I couldn't hear it. Have you handed in the resignation letter yet? I have, handed it in. Where are you now? I'm in the mall. By yourself? Yes, on my own. The phone was silent for a moment. Would you like me to pick you up? Du Lacey was already sweating all over. That's alright, you do what you need to do. Ha ha ha. Your voice sounds very guilty. Du Lacey's heart beat rapidly. Hubby. I received your phone call so I'm too happy. Hubby. I miss you so much. Hubby tilde. Upon hearing the way Du Lacey called him hubby, Lian Jun slightly choked. If you have nothing else, you should return home earlier. Don't run around scaring others. Du Lacey sweetly replied, okay tilde. With that she hung up the call. Hearing the beeping sound coming from the phone, Du Lacey let out a sigh of relief. Oh my god. That was too dangerous.